Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the first session in the sports room today. Some very exciting content here for you. We've got two sessions in here, but our first session, the one that you've all been looking forward to, is all around the rules of engagement. Now, to take us through this, we have Maarten Albarda from Flock, and we have Ricardo Fort from Coca-Cola. Please welcome them to the stage. Take it away, gentlemen.
Good morning. Good morning. First time at home and we talk about choreography.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you hear all of us? Great. So thanks for joining the session today. Maarten and I will be talking in a few minutes. What I thought I could do to get us starting is to share a couple of examples of work we have done at Coke for the last 6 months. And some of them are still going on right now to inspire and to show you some references of what we'll be talking about shortly. So I will start with a couple of, there are 3 examples that I brought of different things that are happening today in our company. The first one is related to the FIFA World Cup. The FIFA World Cup, it's coming in a couple of months. We've been working in the preparation for the event for 4 or 5 years now. We are a few months to kick off the event. And there's one thing that we've been doing since 2005, which is the way that Coke chose to activate the FIFA World Cup, which is the FIFA World Cup Trophy Tour. Just to give us a little bit of background, each of the FIFA sponsors, they have access to use the real trophy, the one that the winning team gets at the end of the final, for 3 days a year. And at some point back in 2005 or 4, we went to FIFA and we asked them to get us the trophy for 4 months. They didn't understand quite exactly what we were trying to do at the time, but at the end, given all the partnerships that we have, they accepted the idea, and we've been traveling with the trophy for a long time. And what we do with the trophy is we take the trophy to 50, 60 countries every year of the FIFA World Cup, and we invite people to join us. And that generates a lot of a conversation and engagement. So the trophy tour in Russia is happening right now. It's going to 16 cities in Russia. And then in January, we kick off the global one. We go to 52 countries. And then it goes back to Russia for the host cities, the 11 host cities, and then the event starts. So we have the trophy with us for 3.5 months before the event. And this is the most recognized icon in the world of sports. So it's a pretty big deal. And we drive 2,000-3,000 people a day to take individual pictures with the trophy, which is quite valuable if you are a sports fan. So the approach that we have, and there is someone in my team that is leasing a plane right now to do this trip. The first one we've done in 2004, I did it myself. We were flying commercial and it was impossible. And every country we landed, the immigration made us open the case with the trophy to allow us to go through security. So now we are better organized. We have a plane that we chartered and to travel with us around the world. So this is pretty much what we do. We take the trophy on a plane like that, and we travel with it for 3.5 months. When we get to a country, we talk to all sorts of constituents. We use the trophy to talk to consumers. So we have a lot of fans coming. We talk to the government. We go and we take the trophy to princes and presidents. And we have a rule that we created with FIFA back in 2004, which is no one can hold the trophy if you are not a former player that won the FIFA World Cup or if you are a head of state. And this is a made-up rule that we came up in 2004 because we were concerned that everybody would try to hold the trophy, and that's very risky for us. So we travel with the trophy, and this is the route of the trophy for the next year. So we are going to all sorts of places, big football countries to small, not very representative football countries. Our commitment with FIFA was that we were going to take the trophy over 16 years, 4 tours, to all the 200 and something federations that they have. And we are about to complete that. So every time someone goes to the trophy tour, they take a picture with the trophy. We take a picture, they take a picture, they take home and post this. We do a lot of sampling to recruit new consumers to our categories. We also work a lot with the local partnerships that we have. So if you have a national team somewhere, we bring them to the trophy tour and we partner with them on the promotion. This case is for Colombia. And we take, as I said, we take the trophy to the government to see presidents and princes and kings, and all of them, they open their doors to talk to us because of football and because of how much they want to get close to the trophy. So it's a big reason why to connect with a lot of different people for us. That was example number one. So a lot of conversations that we generate, and if you follow the handles of, in different social media of the trophy tour, you see what's happening today and what will happen next year. It's quite interesting. Well, the example number two is something from Brazil that just recently happened, and we sponsor. If you are familiar with the Rock in Rio, we sponsor the event. We sponsor several of its editions before. This time, we were not one of the major sponsors of the event, but we did something in a way to activate the event which was quite unique. We had, instead of just having a regular display, we built a large karaoke. So we have a live band playing, and people, instead of watching the show, and they were being part of the concerts, and they were performing live. And because of that, Coke came up out of the event as the most associated brand with the event, the brand that did the best job at the event. So it was quite an interesting way to be part of it in a way that was unexpected. We had this big stage, and we have thousands of people coming to sing with a professional band, famous people playing. So it was quite interesting, and the way they activated music, which is something we've been doing forever, but that was the first time we have this. And because of the way we were doing, we got unexpected extra conversations going on because of the idea. Just a couple of images to illustrate what we've done. The third and last example is something that we have recently done a month ago. We've been working with Electronic Arts for a long time because of the FIFA partnership as well. If you play FIFA, the game, you know that since the 2017 edition, they came up with a new feature, which is you manage the career of a player. So there's this guy called Alex Hunter, which is a player that they made up. And you, as a manager, have to manage his story and what he's doing, the decisions that he's making, where he's going to play, the negotiations with the managers. I'm not going to spend your time talking about the size of the business of gaming. For us, it's a very important thing, not only because it talks to our core consumer, but also because the occasion where people are playing games is the occasion where people drink soft drinks and other beverages. But to be alert, they drink a lot of Coca-Cola, and that's great for us because we can match the consumption with the marketing activation. So what we've done this time, and they recently launched the FIFA 18 4 weeks ago, is we signed a sponsorship with this virtual player. And I'll show you two videos to tell a little bit of the story. The first one is the video that EA used to seed the launch of the campaign. And the second one is the video about the signing of the player itself. So let's roll I'll show you the first one.
There is one question on everybody's lips.
What next for Hunter?
Everyone's hunting Hunter.
Alex Hunter has been talked about.
I think always Alex Hunter talk. I think that's just paper talk, if I'm honest.
Sehen wir Alex Hunter bald in der Bundesliga?
Seine Spielweise ist atemberaubend.
Alex Hunter is a proper talent, a huge talent. He needs the right club and the right manager. Any club will be lucky to have him.
Alex Hunter is in the media every day, and it's getting annoying, to be fair.
Oh, it's so irritating. What kind of club would let Alex Hunter go?
I'm not really sure that a move is the right thing for him.
Just finishing.
But this guy's getting 2 victories. Wiesbla.
Alexander is a great player.
He's a beast. Yeah, she is. He's very quick.
He's got skills, amazing skills.
Hunter è un attaccante fenomenale.
Hopefully he's got good people around him.
Hunter's bombed his bridge. He has to look after himself. Go!
I would move.
Rumours have got to stop him. Go, Ali.
Alex Hunter really aren't wasting time.
Will Alex Hunter stay or go?
Are you sure this is what you're
What about this tour of the US?
What does your heart tell you?
So they did a great job in seeding the launch of the game, and which is sells more in the first week as a couple of blockbusters combined. So what we've done is we created this idea of signing the player, and he's going to work for Coke, and we produced with EA a remake of a famous Coke commercial that was aired in many different countries. Here in the United States was Mean Joe Green back in the late 80s. Early 80s, sorry. It was produced in Brazil with Zico, in Argentina with Maradona, and in several different countries. So we replicated that scene of the young boy that gives the Coke to his idol when he's walking out of the field after being red carded. So this is the story. If you play the game, you will see that you can you see the behind the scenes story of filming the commercial as if it was a real commercial. And this is what I'll show you now is the commercial itself.
Hey, Alex. Alex Hunter?
Yeah.
Forget them. They don't know anything. You're the greatest. You, do you want my Coke? It's okay. You can have it.
Yeah, all right then.
Matt, nobody's gonna believe me.
You got a phone?
Yeah.
Well, come here then.
So that's our new star. So that was it. There are 3 examples just to start a conversation. I'm gonna now join Maarten, and we're gonna talk a little bit more about it. Thank you.
Very good. Thanks, Ricardo. So I think it's probably fair to say that the time when you just slapped your name on an event and hoped for the best, that's kind of gone. What are some of the motivations for a brand like Coke or any of your brands in your portfolio to choose and become involved with a sponsorship or to get involved with something like that? Because make sure that your microphone is on. So how do you choose an event now? So how is it different from where it was before? Cheers.
So it really depends on the. Yep. So it really depends on the brand. Most people think about Coca-Cola when you talk sponsorships, but we have a lot of other brands that have different objectives. So if you think only Coke, we are looking for ways to tell stories and engage people like these 3 examples allowed us to do.
Right.
So most people, when they come to talk to us, they still are offering the same things that they were offering in the 80s. They want to offer visibility, which is something that we really don't need anymore.
Right.
And some of the right holders were surprised when we, years ago, I'll tell a brief story. Years ago, when we were talking to FIFA, and FIFA came for a contract renewal. And this is usually a process that lasts a year of negotiation. It's very sophisticated, very complicated. There's a lot of things, a lot of money involved. And the way FIFA was valuing the sponsorship was primarily through visibility on boards, which was something that we were not very big fans of because we just don't need that anymore. And we said, I agree with the price, but I want to give you the boards back, and you just discount the boards. But they priced 90% of the contract on the boards, which of course it was just a way to tell them that doesn't work for us.
Right.
Of course, that didn't happen, and Coke is on boards, but this is not what you're looking for. So stories like that is what makes the difference for us.
Okay, so the boards is more like a ticket to other stuff that can then help you write or create the stories that you're looking for.
Yes, specifically in soccer, the boards are important just for a historical reference, but not for branding or anything like that.
Right. And then, so if you are doing sponsorship for different reasons, how has measuring the success or the impact of that sponsorship, how do you do that? How do you know that something like that with EA, that pays back or that is relevant?
There are always the two sides of the measurement. One of them is what's the impact on the brand, and we have sophisticated methods and methodologies for measuring how that is making people like the brand more.
Yeah.
But we also have indicators of how that makes people drink more, which is more complicated to do. In the past, what we did was if you like us more, you drink us more. Now it's a little bit more complicated than that, and we go all the way to how many customers you activate, how much extra space you get in store, and how much that is driving the business.
And so is that a difficult conversation to have with the likes of FIFA or the IOC or any of the other big bodies? Are they beginning to get it as well, or is that still a tough conversation to have?
No, these organizations in particular, they are very good at understanding this, and they evolved with us over the past several years. There are others that are not necessarily the same stage, but they've been doing this for a long time, and they deal with a lot of big companies that are asking them the same. So they do a good job in accepting and understanding
Right.
this.
And so, I mean, we've obviously seen a couple of Coke examples. Do you think the same rules apply to other brands as you activate it, or is it a different approach for different brands?
Well, some brands, they do require visibility, and we still have the same strategy as we used to have for Coke back in the 70s or 80s. And new brands, new entrants in new markets, we have to do this.
Right.
So we still do a lot of endorsements of celebrities. We still do a lot of brand visibility type of activation.
Yeah. And is it different? Is your decision-making process and the decision-making elements that sort of help you make a decision, is that the same for renewal of an existing property and finding a new property, or are there different? Is that a different process? So something that you've never done before, like the EA guy, right? You've never done something. I don't think anybody's ever done something like that before, right? Nobody's ever signed up a virtual player with a sponsorship. So what is the decision-making process that you go through to make a call like that?
Something like that is part of an experiment that we're doing. Right. And it's fine if it doesn't work. Luckily, it's working well.
Right.
But we would be fine if it wasn't, and that would be okay. I think the biggest challenge that we have today is the realization that we have to terminate a sponsorship, because it's a much more difficult decision than signing someone. And we have enough knowledge to make this type of decisions, and sometimes people on the outside of the company, they don't understand why we're doing this. But sometimes the mission that we had when we signed the sponsorship is accomplished, has been accomplished. So you can terminate, and that's okay. And so it should be okay for the partner as well, as long as you do it in the right way.
Yeah, and we've seen some big names stepping out, right? McDonald's has terminated with the IOC or the Olympic Games. A couple of other decisions that have happened. So is sponsorship safe for the future, or is it part of that world that is maybe not so relevant anymore in the new the AI world we just saw in the previous presentation?
Yeah, I don't think. I don't think that sponsorships have never been more important than they are today, honestly. And the reason why is all the technology that is being developed. It's focused on there are pipelines to distribute the stories. And sports stories, entertainment stories continue to be what people care about, a lot more than what they care about brands and what they care about the pipelines. So if your message is going through VR or a TV or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. We have to be smart enough to be able to push messages through these new pipes.
Okay. I want to throw it open to the room and see if there's any questions from anybody here that want to ask Ricardo. Yes, I'm going to come over to you so you can hear you. Oh, there were they. We have somebody for that. That's really cool.
You recently changed the colors. You were trying green, etc., for all the varieties of Coca-Cola. And then you went back to your core color, which was red, so that we could understand that it meant zero sugar and not zero whatever. Could you expand on that? And also about the core value of producing happiness, and how do you sustain that and take it into the other brands that are now more fitness? You're looking into other drinks that are more oriented to health.
So
easy question.
Yeah, so there are a couple of different things. So yes, we did in the past years until maybe 2015. We were the core message of the brand was about happiness, and that was a right way to communicate for the world that we were living between 2005 and 2015. Since 2015, the brand was relaunched with a new campaign. It's called Taste the Feeling. And happiness doesn't play a role as big as it used to play before. What happened with the packaging was a realignment of the package with the idea of the brand. I mean, if you like to drink a Coca-Cola, doesn't matter if you drink with sugar, no sugar, half sugar, that's less relevant. So the idea of the brand is the same. So all the packs, they look more or less the same. They're more red than we used to be. And the message of the brand is the same for all the different variants.
So does that then also mean that you bring all those brands into play at an event like the World Cup rather than just focusing on Coke Red?
Yes, absolutely. So if you may not have noticed, but the kid in the EA commercial, he offers the player a Coke, and he's holding a can of Coke Zero. It's subtle, but this is what we want people to see and to feel and how they should behave. Doesn't matter what you're drinking as long as it's one of the options. So yes,
so it's like a brand rather, a family of options rather than just one focus.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Right. Anybody else? Yes.
So how do you measure the success of this kind of activity? What are your successful metric, and how do you amplify this kind of deals? And just last one question. If this is a success, are you planning to extend those kind of virtual deals?
Talk in the microphone, drink from the can. I'll help you.
So there are different ways to measure the conversation that we are creating based on that with the people that are associated with the game is a very important indicator, how they're talking about us. But we also track some brand indicators that can be as easy as it's something that I like to drink. It fits with the occasion. There are probably 10 or 12 brand indicators. We track the conversation as well. I don't know if you're going to do this again or if you're going to do this more. On the gaming universe, there are some things that we are not interested to be associated with. But in particular with sports, we are, and we're going to continue. We've been working with EA for 12 years. We'll continue to do it.
Sorry, yes. How do you promote this kind of deal? So how you amplify this? What kind of media do you use?
So this one in particular, it has a couple of $1 million worth of media in different countries. So we have some EA proprietary media, but you also have, in the US, you have cinemas, you have, digital, you may have TV in the US, I don't. But we're doing the same work, in Germany, France, in Brazil, so all the same.
And these platforms are so pervasive; they're almost like a medium in their own right as well, right? I mean, people playing it will see it anyway. It's there, and so you mentioned these platforms. They go out and they get more exposure sometimes than some of the big blockbuster movies in the first few weeks. So, anybody else? Because I have certainly one other question for you. Oh yes, over there.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Estefania. How do you choose what sports you want to invest in?
It depends on. So we have research in different countries. There are a couple of sports that we are more associated with. So we will always invest in soccer. We will always invest in the Olympic Games. But there are other things that are more local. So I worked in India for 2 years, and in India, 80% of the investment is cricket, because 95% of the market is cricket. So Coke does soccer, the football, but also does a lot of cricket in India. You do basketball in China. So it depends really on the country.
So do you also then need to now pay attention to new types of sports like esports? I mean, obviously, Electronic Arts, it's almost more like a soccer thing than an esports thing, but esports itself is a huge platform which got huge exposure nowadays as well, where teams are getting sponsored and all that kind of stuff. Is that something that you guys are looking at as well?
Yes, we are doing a couple of different things in esports. One of them is tournaments, and the other one is media on the esports relevant media channels. So we use as a media channel. This is probably the most disorganized sport that we have today because it is still in its early stages. So you see a lot of people doing investments in teams, in players, in titles, or in tournaments, but nobody knows exactly what's going on. We've made a decision, and we'll find out if it's right or wrong in the future. But our decision was let's stick to the to tournaments, and we have our own tournaments that we organize with some of our partners. So we organize tournaments with FIFA, with not with the IOC yet, but with a few of the others, and we invest in a few titles, and we work with influencers and to generate media. So we send, when we launched the FIFA work, we sent kits in advance to a lot of people in a different many countries, so that they could start talking about the work that we were doing before, and it's been working well so far.
Right. We're almost out of time. I'm looking around yet. One more over there. Get the microphone over. Sorry, otherwise we don't hear you. People next door are very noisy neighbors. It's really annoying.
I'm Juan. Thanks for the presentation. Just one quick question about how does Coca-Cola, first of all, is there a measure of how the brand, this traditional brand, has affinity with younger generations, millennials, Gen Z, or the new wave of consumers? And how does Coca-Cola plan to adapt the message to these younger consumers that are more focused and interested in healthier choices, be it soft drinks, foods, whatever? How is Coca-Cola planning on adapting to this new consumer?
So just I'll clarify something. So there's a lot of reference on health. Most people think health, they think sugar and overconsumption of sugar. So just make a distinction here. What I'm drinking here has no sugar, so there is no health concerns with that. I can drink a swimming pool of this and it wouldn't make any, do any harm. So overconsumption of sugar, it is a problem in a lot of places, and there are measures that we are taking to control that. But the largest consumer group for us are still young people, and they drink a lot of different varieties of Coke and different varieties of products. Coke today has probably 300 different products and all sorts of categories. I drink a lot of coconut water by chance, but there are other things that people drink from the company. But the communication is adapted to this target on things like that. And we do have other campaigns that talks to moms and to families. We do in Muslim countries, we do a lot of Ramadan communication. In Christian countries, we do a lot of Christmas communication. We do sports everywhere. We do a lot of communication for a meals occasion, because when you are eating, that's of course, the biggest consumption of our products. So there are all sorts of campaigns, and today I brought specifically the ones about sports, which talks mostly with the young consumers.
Thank you.
All right, we are pretty much out of time. The red light is blinking. I have one final question for you. How relieved are you that the Netherlands is not going to the World Cup? Because now at least Brazil has some chance of making it through the quarterfinals.
This is my biggest relief right after Argentina qualifying. I want Argentina to qualify so badly, and I was afraid of the Netherlands. Yes.
All right, Ricardo, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Ricardo and Maarten. Much appreciated. Thank you. Very intriguing. So, guys, we have reached the end of the first morning of the second day. Wow, not long left to go. There's two options for you now if you're feeling peckish. There is the main lunch, which is out in Casada Pool, or you have the opportunity to go and see an exclusive unveiling of the Kantar Millward Brown survey, which is all about advertisers and what advertisers want in this new world media. So that is in Veranda East, if you fancy going there. But once again, thank you very much to Maarten and Ricardo. Thank you.